Hello, BookTube. I have a book haul from the University of Chicago Press. This month they had a 30% off of selected queer literature, and I bought 4 volumes of poetry, as well as a 5th volume of poetry that was not included in the sale. I have been kicking myself for more than a month for not having bought most of these books in April when the University of Chicago Press had a 40% off sale of selected new releases in poetry, which many of these books are. So let's get looking at the books. First up is The Curve of Things by Kathy Kremins. The curve of things takes shape in this book, a woman's full hips, but also a rolling mountain, water-soft bend, or the thrum of Irish immigrants living at the hard edges. With all their music, these poems feast on queer love, mapping loss and liberation, exploring her beloved scars, and the knot of kinship that remains even when lovers part. Tragic and tender, the curve of things trembles through the ecstatic joys and difficulties of loving women, celebrating provocatively this long-stretching terrain of desire. These poems choose love over defeat, finding deliciousness in every ache and in every yearning. So, The Curve of Things by Kathy Kremins. Next is Nest of Matches by Amie Whittemore. Which does not have a description, so I will read one of the blurbs. So this is from Nicole Brown, author of The Donkey Elegies. Hypnagogic and thirsty, Amie Whittemore's poems ache with desire particular to the queer body, which is to say that yes, her lines are erotically charged, but what they seek is not always the arms of another, but something more difficult to hold, such as an understanding of what it means to be good, or the unstoppable slippage of time. As such, the poems orbit the moon in her many cycles, conjure ancestors now gone, and they are always rooted in language that is creaturely, pulsing with crows and foxes, minnows and green corn, allowing entrance to the unabashed territories of longing, violets, mornings, meadows, tongues, and the world is delicious again. As the title implies, Nest of Matches is home for the body of an animal, but a highly flammable one, a sensuous and sumptuous read. The third one I picked up is You Bury the Birds in My Pelvis by Kelly Weber. This is from Mary Jo Bang, Jez's citation for Omnidon's second book contest of 2022. The words came out of their mouth and entered our language, primed minds by way of the eyes which read. Each day I negotiate another way to live. The associative leaps, circumstantially tangential, between being and becoming keep taking us to that place where the word queer is barbed wire strung across pink sky and snow, larkspur and lapine rising from pelvis. And the fourth is Portal by Tracy Fuad. And this is from Monica Yoon, author of From. I have been trained my whole life for this wanting, writes Fuad in this astonishing collection. Portal maps the folds and membranes, the sentient recursive topographies of an extraordinary poetic consciousness. A sequence of thought unfolds, line by line, each step bridging voids of reference, the economic, the linguistic, the sensual. We are guided through a dimensional journey over thresholds we were unable to perceive until guided by this poet's vision. And I also picked up Come Take a Gentle Stab, selected poems by Salim Barakat, translated by Huda J. Fakhreddin and Jayson Iwen. The first collection of Salim Barakat's poetry in English, Come Take a Gentle Stab, represents every stage of his career and features selections from his most acclaimed works, including excerpts from his book-length poems rendered into English that captures the exaltation of language for which he is famous. A Kurdish Syrian, Barakat chose to write in Arabic, the language of cultural and political hegemony that has marginalized his people. He pushes Arabic to a point just beyond its linguistic limits, resisting coherence but never destroying it, and always beneath the surface of this roiling water one can glimpse the deep currents of ancient Kurdish culture. And I picked this up because I think there's a new collection coming out from Siegel, which is distributed by the University of Chicago Press in the United States later this year, which I will talk a bit about when I do my mid-year freakout tag here in a bit. So, anyway, BookTube, to recap what I picked up from the University of Chicago Press, Come Take a Gentle Stab by Salim Barakat, translated by Huda J. Fakhreddin and Jayson Iwen. Portal by Tracy Fuad. Bury the Birds in My Pelvis by Kelly Weber. She goes on the bottom because she has a W. Nested Matches by Amie Whittemore, which is actually on the bottom because I think that's the last. And then The Curve of Things by Kremins, which goes in the middle. So this way I can go ahead and get these organized into my catalog before I put them up, because I don't know if I'll do it today because I do have the mid-year freakout tag to do later today. So I might go ahead and put these 5 slim volumes of poetry, as well as the other poetry collections I picked up last week, as well as the contemporary translated fiction that I picked up. I'm going to go ahead and put them into the classics, canonical, modern, and contemporary fiction, poetry, and drama section of my collection, either later today or tomorrow. So yeah, so I will be back with a few more videos. So until then, BookTube, thank you, have a great afternoon, and stay safe.